Start with the flyer.
Yeah, that I already have ready.
Do full screen if you can.
Yeah. Full screen. Dr. Malik, we can start.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. As-salatu as-salamu alayka Rasulullah salatu as-salam Habiballah. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone, and assalamu alaikum to everyone. We are back with the Halal Ethical Weekend Startup Webinar Series. The objective of this is to talk about how halal is a huge market and how halal and ethical are equal to each other. Because when you say halal also means ethical. And why we are talking about ethical is when you see crony capitalism, which is there, in my home country in America, where it's like K-shaped growth, where the rich become rich, the poor become poor. But when you look at holistic growth, is called hukukul ibad, where you take everyone's growth, whether responsibilities, whether it's your government, whether it's your employees, your suppliers, even your competition, and everyone, you try to take care of them in an ethical way. So halal and ethical is equals to same. uh, our journey, Halal Angels, started 2 years ago when we launched in the month of May. So it will be inshallah 2 years. But COVID, we never estimated COVID to so prolong, but it prolonged, and so we thought of building up the whole back end. And this year now we hope inshallah ta'ala the COVID pandemic will slowing down, and cases are falling down. So we thought of launching the webinar series, get experts, startups, investors, academicians, scientists. Our agenda is to get everyone on board. And Halal Angels' agenda is to supplement and complement the halal economy, whether somebody is doing an expo, whether somebody is a journalist, whether somebody is an halal expert. We just want to complement them. Why we started Halal Angels? Because there's a funding challenge issues. You might have the best of idea, but there's no funding. And that's what we, based on a personal experience when I started into this halal industry, where I experienced that funding is a big challenge for all of us. And we thought that's where we need to focus rather than compete with everyone. We wanted to supplement and complement, because working with each other makes sense. And I am very happy that we launched it. We got the best launch. I always tell in my webinar, I was supposed to come to Malaysia and launch it there, but unfortunately I couldn't come because of COVID. And I launched it from under the feet of my mother, which is the best launch I ever got. And because under the feet of the mother is the heaven, and her heart is connected to the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the best person on the cosmos and the planet is your mother and your parents. So we got the best launch, and mashallah, the idea has gone entrenched, and we have partnerships with different companies across the globe, where we're going to do halal and ethical webinar series. So T. Ramlan is one of the first persons. When he saw Halal Angels, he approached me, and Mr. Usman has been a great supporter of what we are doing, advising and everything. So he's here tonight, tonight afternoon. And then let me introduce Mr. Akram Haq. Akram Haq is one of our board members. He's a very dynamic publisher, editor of a very popular news channel called the Policy Times. It talks about policy initiatives focused on to growth, and growth comes from education, because he does educational seminars. So if anyone wants to look around Akram's work in education, he's there. He's also talking about sustainable growth. He does webinars on sustainable growth, which is also hukukul ibad. Then he also talks about startups and entrepreneurship, because he also believes like us that entrepreneurship is innovation and entrepreneurs create jobs. And he himself is a very dynamic man, and I'm very happy and very proud to also say that he's a co-host and for us, and he's my younger brother in terms of my love and affection towards him. So I give it to Akram. and Akram will introduce the speakers and we take it further, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Malik. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I welcome all our respected speakers in this wonderful panel discussion today. As Dr. Malik has already introduced me, so I'll not go deep into it. The topic that we have chosen today does not reward us in this world. This will also reward us in the world hereafter. So the work that this Dr. Malik has taken, the benefit, the rahmat, the outcome of this is everlasting. So the success of this cannot be measured in just the number of participation and the number of people viewing it, but also as an extension of the message of the messengers of Allah's different, I think powers or instruments through which he spread his message of love and responsibilities in this world. Now, I want to bring this as perspective from two separate dimensions or angle. Why do we need to be ethical and halal? Is because it is said by the creator of this universe. Everything has a creator. No car can come in without a creator of it. No house can be built without a creator of it. Hence, accepting this fact that this world standing today without anyone's intervention is something which is absolutely illogical. Hence, it is the responsibility of us to acknowledge, realize, understand that there is a creator, and the creator has an objective, has a message for the world, for the universe. So the work that we have, Dr. Malik has taken, is also one of the true work that the God or the Allah Almighty wants us to spread. That is one. That is also not just it. To live in this world peacefully and in proper discipline and with bringing welfare of everyone in the society, we need to have a disciplined, benevolent, structured, organized life. Hence, being ethical in our approach, whether it is our profession, job, or it is in business, or it is in any field of life that we lead in this world, whether it is relation with the family or anyone, being ethical and halal is absolute necessity for peaceful and healthy coexisting, co-living. Hence, Dr. Malik's effort of organizing the series of halal and ethical startups is absolutely meaningful, and we acknowledge it, and we want to reach out to every human being on earth, because this message is not limited to a particular community. This message is for everyone in this universe. The last point is startup. So there are 4 or 5 areas I will introduce our speakers and I will request them to touch upon. Is no objective can be fulfilled if there is no involvement of the youth and women. Women are the most integral part of our society. Now, when we talk about this, how much we are able to engage the youth and involve our women sisters will be one of the paramount factors of the success of this. The second thing is investment, technology, R&D. These are 3 areas that we need enough attention to give, because this is just not about the concept. This is about giving a complete different direction towards life. I will introduce and welcome our eminent speakers joining us from Malaysia and different part of the world. Sister Nur Hariti Jalil, who is a consultant at Dinar Standard. She has been working in this space for decades. And with her, we have 2 brothers, Brother Ramlan Osman, who is the founder of Vietnam Halal Center, one of the very active, energetic persons, celebrities, personalities working in this space. And with them, we have Brother also Noor Amin, Muhammad Noor, joining us, chairman and founder of Global Health Tech, Holtech, in fact. And with this, I have 3 questions. I'll start with our sister. Sister, without involvement of women and youth, we are we will never be able to make something successful. Your experience and view in working in this space, what will be your message for the people who will be watching this? Over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Akram. Thank you. Welcome to also all participants, and thank you for putting me with other panelists, prominent panelists, Mr. Ramlan and Mr. Nuramin. When we talk about business, I think there's no doubt whether it's halal or conventional that we need to have women as part of a strong supporting pillar to the business. They may not be the CEO, but they should be also the heads of some of the areas that they look at. They'll be more meticulous, but I think what as a woman and also as a woman and as a person who's actually driving certain initiatives in the halal industry, I see that their involvement provides better clarity to some of the things that we are saying about halal, because they are involved directly when we talk about food, cosmetics, pharmaceutical. They are not only strategic thinkers, but they're also users. And I think then they bring the experience, they bring their thinking, and also their insights about how they deal with this matter. So no doubt women is very important, and their leadership in driving some of the initiatives within halal is key in ensuring that sustainability, or even to ensure startups. When we talk about SMEs in Malaysia, many startups are women actually. Yeah, when they have their businesses, whether in these areas, basically they are all women, whether they are in a community leader, also in conglomerates. The other thing that I'm looking at youth, I think sustainability is the word that Akram has been using just now. Without the youth, I think halal will not be sustainable. You can have systems, you can have processes, you can have SOPs, you can have policies, but moving forward as part of economy, the youth plays a very important factor, and therefore education being the starting point for knowledge and also skills would be the emphasis that I'll be talking about later on in my slides. Thanks, Akram.
Sister, you can share your presentation and you can do Bismillah.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay, do you want to run the PPT?
Yeah, you can run the PPT.
Okay. Just give me some time.
See there? Okay, so thank you, Akram. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm representing today Dina Standard, which is a strategy research and advisory firm producing the Global Islamic Economy report that has been used as reference for the development of halal economy, for the performance of halal economy globally. And what I'm going to address today is actually about touching what I've mentioned earlier, addressing talent through skills and learning. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the global economy, in my next slide, this is what has been reported by SGIE for 2021. When we talk about global economy, it concludes about the need for a halal economy to grow, and also Islamic finance. And when we talk about halal, the economy for halal, food has always been 60 to 70% percentage contribution to the numbers. But when we move forward into the year, we can see that the spending year to year of 3.2% growing from 2018 is going to go beyond that, even post-pandemic, especially after pandemic, and also Islamic finance supporting them at 2.8 trillion, still being one of the bigger contributor in the Islamic economy. Now, when we talk about this, I think if you follow development of Malaysia, we are talking about integrating these two factors to support the Islamic economy, a concept, halal ecosystem that would integrate both halal and Islamic finance to grow the Islamic economy together. I think the efforts has been done by our local agency, HDC. Next slide, please. Something that I wanted to quote, this is a report that was developed by ITC in 2015, which is very, very relevant to our discussion today. When you talk about halal becoming a powerful market parameter, it has evolved into many other subsectors. We know now we talk about personal care, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals. Now, travel and hospitality has becoming one of another area supporting the core sectors, with being food, cosmetics, and pharmaceutical, and lifestyle, meaning fashion and also media. And SDIE actually support these numbers, performance of these subsectors. When we talk about the halal evolution, previously, like you mentioned, we keep talking, I think Dr. Malik also was talking about looking at the quality mark assurance, looking at standards, certification, and also accreditation from the quality perspective. But now when we look at the mainstream, because we want halal now to be into mainstream, we look at their presence in the supply chain, the presence of halal products and services in products, especially in supermarket, and they are now have gone global. They have gone global. They're no more local, despite the fact that the Muslim community under the 57 countries around the world, we can still see that the global presence of halal in non-Muslim countries very prominent due to the population and the movement of Muslim community around the world. And we are not just talking about food; it's a full product range from, it's not just one SKU. If you talk about JAKIM being our certification body in Malaysia, they have millions of SKUs being registered for halal to date. I think maybe Mr. Nuramin will be able to provide some insights on this. He has more information on me on this. And also the halal certification is no more, it's no more local, it's local and also global. So you can see that people are moving halal products around the world, and therefore the support of supply chain is very important in order to get worldwide acceptance. Moving into the youth and also women, halal to them is a lifestyle, even though it's required under Islam, but they have shifted halal to be more into being shown to them in a lifestyle manner through fashion, media, and now moving into the culture and also values. And one of the lifestyle areas that is very focused by this webinar is ethical and moral. So now when we look at how the new markets opportunities in both national and industry level, the growing consumer awareness have created a growing crossover opportunity for halal offerings into other niche mainstream markets, such as natural food movement, and also ethical initiatives. Now, it requires a whole lot of different marketing, branding for the public in terms of this matter. Next slide, please. So what do we see from here? What are the challenges that we're facing before I move into skill education? Halal is now a trade matter and involves complex supply chains because we're crisscrossing into one supply chain into another supply chain. Therefore, halal industry players are facing a lot of challenges to assure end-to-end halal integrity of their products across supply chain and value chains. Why I put value chain? Because of the research, innovation, education, learning skills, and also the sciences behind halal. Yeah. So when we talk about regulatory framework, I think Dina Standard actually produced a report on the different regulatory framework for halal across MENA, and there are a lot of challenges to comply to, other than just the HACCP, the GMPs, the GDPs, and all those. It's also regulatory compliance that exists for safety and quality within the mainstream for food, for not only food sectors but also other subsectors that we see in halal in terms of their definition, guidelines, standards. Yeah, we are still debating on this. In terms of halal, it's continuous, and I don't think it stops anybody to actually move into halal. Yeah, as long as we have knowledge and skills. That's very important. So auditing, and that is being shown, practiced through auditing and certification. And of course, recognizing each other's systems, halal system, through accreditation. So these are the things that currently within the CIMIC, or the Association of Islamic Countries for Halal Standards, CIMIC, is trying to do, to have some form of acceptance and respected standards to be able to move the product in the global trade. At the same time, we look at marketing, messaging, and branding in the mainstream for halal sector, which is quite a challenge. Through my own experience, people can talk about logos, marketing their product, halal products through logos, but that's not enough for a consumer. Consumer want to know, what does it mean for me? So a lot of this education has yet to come on board in terms of the mainstream, because it's very sophisticated unless you are part of the system. Availability of talent and expertise is the portion that I'm going to talk a bit more further within the halal market to nurture the SMEs and also the entrepreneur startups, or even existing major corporations who wants to participate into the halal sector. They want to know what differs for halal in terms of what I already have. You know, you're talking about the big brands, the FNNs, the the Procter Gambles, the Unilevers, or even, you know, Mondelez, for example, that owns Cadbury. So for products and services to be truly halal, they must be based on business, social relationships that are non-exploitative and environmentally sustainable. Now, halal has moved up to a next level. They are embracing the sustainable standards. I can't see their standards, but it's the concepts, as well as equitable and beneficial for both the buyer and the seller, and also the consumer. So therefore, growth of the halal sectors, not only now we can see that this breadth of halal that we're talking about here, very embedded into the economy. They create jobs, social harmony, and of course, improve lifestyle, hopefully, inshallah, to many people globally. Next one. So when I'm focusing now on talent, this is something that I looked into quite deeply when I was working in the halal industry. Several strategies to address the availability of talent, expertise within the halal market, to empower people to create employment and talents. So here we talk about certain strategies that have been implemented, especially in Malaysia: building halal talent through a structured approach, embedding knowledge and experience, education programs to communicate and educate producers and consumers, structured learning programs and services based on market opportunities, promote and educate on halal and its services, and lastly, producing credible and recognized learning programs at both skill level and also education universities. Next one. Can I go to the next slide? So we talk about how this is currently being done in Malaysia. You can see that this is something that's been crafted. The source is HTC. We wish to actually create halal professional within the supply chain participation and also value chain participation. And the halal talent being a pool of knowledgeable or experienced people, which are registered, which are being trained through registered training providers to obtain their skill certificate or even education certificate at the lowest level, 1, 2, 3. In Malaysia, we have the skills development department of skills development and the Ministry of Human Resource that recognizes the schemes for halal in order to make sure that even you don't need to go to university, you just need to be qualified through the school when you finish school to actually being skilled to obtain certificate to work in the halal industry. So they do obtain, and they're being certified by the competent authority. So the qualification working experience SKM is actually issued by Skills Development Department at level 1, 2, and the lowest level. Now moving into expert, there are a lot of experts. Mr. Nuramin here, Mr. Ramlan here, moving into this space already. Yeah, they have the levels, the skill level. They already have the certificates that they have. Maybe it's not halal, but other certificates that's relevant to the competencies across the supply chain. In order for them, they just need to acquire the knowledge on halal in order to portray themselves as halal expert. I'm an accountant. They call me an expert. Well, I do have certificates in some certificates in halal, but whether or not I will practice. I'm more of a consultant. There is a scheme for it actually being developed for halal consultant. Lastly, professionals, they run the organization. So if you are the CEO of an organization, whether it's SME or MNC, you can actually get yourself certified as competent by the authority as halal professionals. This is the pool of people that we need to produce along the supply chain across the value chain. Yeah. So in skills development approach, this is in Bahasa, unfortunately, we have occupational framework. We've got number one is actually occupational framework. We've got the standard skill standard. We've got the halal industry experts. Number three, number four, we've got the supply chain that we cover in terms of breadth. And then number five, we've got education and the talent development, and the six. And seventhly, we talk about how they will study the supply and demand of halal practitioners in the market. So these are the scope that's being covered under skill development that's currently being led through the local agency HTC. Now, moving into the education side, universities, some of them are, aspire to hold degrees, certificate, diploma degrees, and also MBAs, MBs, masters, or even PhD. They can go through the learning program, and under the Malaysian Qualification Agency, they have developed the Halal Studies program scheme, which cover both applied science and the management studies. Can you go to the next slide so that I can elaborate a bit more? Going back to skills development, these are some of the standards that has already been developed. For halal operation supervision, yes. Halal operation supervision, what is covered in terms of module across? Halal administration, halal management. I'm just going to cover these three so that I can cover my 10 minutes. And these modules are being modularly certified. In order to achieve halal operation supervision, you've got 4 schemes, modules that you need to cover. You can actually do it all at once or one at a time at your own pace, depending where you are. Because at a point of a certain level in terms of a talent, you already acquire some of the skills. You just need to find the knowledge, halal knowledge, in order to be certified. So there is another approach on how they certify these people who are already experienced. You just need to go in terms of certain credit hours for some of these modules, okay? That's under skills development. Now, if you look at halal management, it's already level 5. So we're talking about assistant managers or even managers in an organization. Next one. At the university level, we have halal studies that covers from certificate to diploma. MQF is Malaysian Qualification Framework, level 3 to 8. And these are some of the structured programs that's been developed that covers both applied sciences under the accreditation framework and management. So at applied science, it covers food and beverages, nutraceuticals and health supplement, consumer goods. These are some of the, the subheadings under the framework that we have picked up for halal studies purposes. Consumer goods, slaughterhouses, pharmaceuticals, original equipment manufacturer, because now we're talking about manufacturers being the engineering team looking into how to make sure that the products meet some of the specs for the halal, and of course medical devices. At management level, we've got the same definition for consumer goods, slaughterhouses, but more from the management side. But what is interesting that it also covers media and recreation, hospitality and tourism, textiles, warehouse, Islamic finance products and services, which is not being covered at applied science. And all this, what it means if a person going into any of the university who offers this program, they're able to get their bachelor's degree in halal science, halal studies. It could be any of these applied science component, or halal studies and management, halal management, in any of these components. So that's what's being offered right now. It has started from 1st of July 2021 in terms of this program in Malaysia. So lastly, moving forward, these are some of the things that I think that needs to be done, whether Malaysia or globally, is to promote across halal industry players to adopt some of this related skill certification to strengthen their internal halal systems. This is very important. It's no more just having internal auditors, but other parts of management, motivating students to sign up halal programs, scaling up halal personnel through skill certification. And of course, we need to have the success stories in terms of how halal professionals have contributed towards the halal company growth. So that's my take for today. Is it more than 10 minutes? Oh, thanks. Sorry. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much, Sister Nurhariti. Wonderful presentation. In fact, giving a comprehensive view on the subject. Dr. Malik, would you like to say anything? Then we move on to our next speaker.
Firstly, I know Dinar Standard years back. I had met Rafiuddin Shiko at ISNA convention in Chicago. And that time I was doing Miswak toothbrush with Dr. Saeed. That was my first brush. He was there, for the halal. But then I started the Muslim Spelling Bee, and Rafiuddin introduced me to Darul Al-Arqam School in New Jersey. He used to be one of the board members. So my success journey into the spelling bee, so one of them, I think I would like to credit Rafiuddin Shiko, from where they used to do American Muslim Consumer Conference, from there to Dubai, then, Dubai Islamic Economy, now spreading out to Malaysia. I think Rafi has done a tremendous job. He's got a great team, I think, and he's doing fantastic. He's the first person to actually document the research onto the halal economy, and so he's that's fantastic, what he's been doing. And when I spoke with Dr. Sister Noor Harita about this, I was very excited that she's going to share about skill development, because no one ever talked about skill development in this sector. So this is one of the first things actually happening, and that's very interesting. I think we should, in question answer session, we should actually ask more information from Sister Jaleel from this, how it can help people, and maybe how people can connect with her, and she can give more information. The next speaker, please introduce Mr. Ramlan Usman, one of very active person. He's moved from Malaysia to Vietnam. He's like, Vasco da Gama going to America to start a new venture in halal economy in Vietnam. Because Vietnam, what I spoke with him, he says even though 3% of Vietnamese population is Muslim, but the government is looking at 1 billion Muslims in Asia, and he closely works with the the ambassador, His Excellency of Malaysia, SDC, to promote cross trade and thing. He's doing fantastic job. He's always there on the social media about his events every week. So I'm very honored that he's with us today. Mr. Ramlan Usman.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Malik. Let me just reorient or rephrase the topic that we are talking. So, Madam talked about the skill development, and absolutely comprehensive it was. Now, to make something a success, it needs involve multi-stakeholder involvement, without which it is not possible. So, one strong area, ma'am sister talked about was the involvement of academia, skill development. The other important stakeholder, there are 4 or 5 stakeholders, I just repeat again: academia, industry, policymakers, international community, and one more stakeholder, that is, I think, the civil society. So these are 5 stakeholders which are absolutely important when we want to drive any long-term strategy to make something success. Brother Osman is a leader in terms of involving the industry. Industry should be made the backbone of something making. Industry is the backbone, and academia is the juggernaut, sleeping juggernaut. So if you can wake up academia, it is absolutely powerful. It can change anything. But industry is always the source which leads something into reality. So, Brother Osman, your view on how we engage industry, especially from the Vietnam experience.
You need to unmute.
Sorry. There you go. Thank you very much, Akram and Dr. Malik, panelists. Mr. Akram, can you put on my slides, please? I've only got a single slide, but it's something that I have been doing in the last 1 year. Okay, before we go into the slides, let me give you a background a little bit. Been to Vietnam in 2019 in April. In fact, next April, 2022 will be 3 years. Like Madam Reti, we were all from the halal industry development in Malaysia. I thought it would be a good move to come over and see different parts of the world, looking at how to spread halal knowledge, and also sharing with regards to our ASEAN brother and sisters. And as time goes by here, I am 3 years. What happened here is in Vietnam. Yeah, when I came in 2019 in April, at that time there was no COVID. So I was sort of this, this zesty me and coming in. I thought we're going to do this and looking at the halal programs, halal roadmaps for the country. That will be fantastic. But when it comes to January 2020, pandemic hit. But otherwise, I still managed to be in the country. And I've been working with a lot of partners. I have to admit, the Investment and Trade Promotion Center of Ho Chi Minh City, under the leadership of Deputy Director Mr. Win Tuan, has been very good. We've got Madam Chang, who's been very supportive. Without the stakeholders from Vietnam, especially in Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City, this would not be possible. So we have done that part. We work together with these agencies, and I have moved around in the southern part of Vietnam to different provinces. There are about 67 provinces. I've covered about 7 so far. So we've been very fortunate. We moved with a government agency in the southern part of Vietnam. Moving forward, last year, I was very lucky to meet a Professor Min, who is the Director General of Investment and Trade. Who is the Institute of Africa and Middle East Studies, or IMS. As you can see, the logo on the left-hand side. Professor Min did his PhD at the University of Malaya in 1992 for about 2 years. So he's very close in terms of feeling good about going back to Malaysia or Kuala Lumpur. He used to live in Petaling Jaya, and he still remembers the ice kacang and the rojak very well. And so I'm quite lucky. So what happened here is from March of last year, we were talking about we need to set up something similar or something bigger in the northern part of Vietnam. So from the time of March of last year until March of this year, we have signed what we call a business cooperating contract to start Halal Center of Excellence. And I have moved from Ho Chi Minh to Hanoi this week to kick off the Halal Center of Excellence. What happened here is, halal business itself and also ecosystem has been going on in Vietnam for the last 5-6 years. But what happened here, it has been a piecemeal work. Yeah, there isn't any agency, there isn't any one-stop center that promotes halal in a structured manner. So when I spoke to Professor Min, and I said, Prof, maybe we need to have a one single body that we can disseminate information, do consultancy, do advisory, and step up the certification process. Because as I'm not sure whether any of the attendees today are aware, there are about 10 certification agencies in Vietnam, but there's only one that is being certified, or rather is being endorsed by JAKIM. That's only one. So perhaps that we could have this private-public partnership looking at one-stop center for the development of halal in Vietnam. And here we are, like I said, in March of this year, we kick off Halal Center of Excellence here in Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. And we're looking at, as you can see from my slides, the verticals that we're moving is the Halal Master Plan, the Action Operation Plan, the Integrity Management, Business Plan, and also Learning Development. This is where we could learn from Madam Reti with regards to training and also going into the discipline of halal from the lower level right up to the specialized skills. So my take is I've been working closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in Vietnam, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and also Ministry of Trade. They have been very forthcoming. They have been very active. As a matter of fact, MOFA, Ministry of Trade, have organized 2 halal conferences, 2020 and 2021, where I was a speaker. There was a lot of interest, especially OIC ambassadors have participated. And I have spoken on behalf of our Malaysian ambassador, Datuk Sharifah Norhana. Unfortunately, the ambassador has gone back to Malaysia to take up another role. The Malaysian embassy, the Malaysian consulate in Ho Chi Minh, they've been very active and supporting. And I also want to mention the ambassador of Vietnam to Malaysia. Dr. Tai has been very, very active as well. He has been very supportive in the sense that, he has put together a lot of initiatives from where we could leverage. And Dr. Tai, and again, although it's been I think less than 2 years in Malaysia, he has even invited one of our panelists here, Mr. Nur Amin, for an audience with him. I think it's about 2 weeks ago. So there are a lot of interest. There are a lot of programs which has been given coverage in terms of what halal should look like in Vietnam. And I'm very fortunate. I've been very lucky being able to move from the grassroots level in Ho Chi Minh. And now we're moving to Hanoi. So, like I said, in terms of the master plan, in terms of action plan, we have put together. In fact, yesterday, we make our first inaugural visit to the Iranian ambassador to Vietnam. Again, Iran is very, very, very supportive. In fact, the minute he knows that I'm from Malaysia, he was mentioning of our former Prime Minister, Tun Mahathir, has given a fantastic platform for Iranian students to come to Malaysia. He was mentioning at one time there's about 20,000 Iranian students that attended public universities in Malaysia. So, from the perspective of Vietnam, I think the realization that there must be a one-stop center, there must be a structured organization or agency that runs this program in Vietnam has been very encouraging. I want to emphasize again, earlier I was mentioning to Akram and also Puan Reti, the Ministry of International Trade in Vietnam has finally come up with a subsection in their business focus is to look at halal. As I was sharing, in the last 2.5 years, you look at the numbers, you look at the trade between other OIC member countries and also from non-OIC member countries who are supplying foodstuff to the Muslim countries is huge. We can take an example of Brazil and also Thailand and Argentina and some of other countries, even China for that matter. So to me, Vietnam has all the potential from Mekong Delta, and what we need to do is put in the proper framework. And I'm happy also to note that there are a few companies here, namely TH Milk, Nutri-Food, and some of other conglomerate we've never heard of outside Vietnam, but they are actively looking at market outside Vietnam. Vietnam has got wonderful coffee here. All over places, if you look at Vietnam coffee, even in Malaysia now, is catching up. I know a few cafes in Ampang have started selling Vietnamese coffee. So these are the opportunity that we need to look at. And that's only on food. We have not gone outside the other value chain of either logistics or cosmetic personal care. But these are something that we need to take into consideration, that Vietnam is waking up. Yeah, I am happy. Like I said, Professor Min from the Institute for Africa Middle East Studies have taken in a positive role, and they have offered me a space, a working space here in Hanoi. I've got a full-fledged office. So we are, in fact, designing the logo now, which is called the Halal Center of Excellence, which we are moving forward. Yeah, and it's also good to know, Dr. Malik, that we have been approached by the Olympic Committee of Vietnam to help provide training and also advisory for the coming SEA Games, Southeast Asian Games, which is in May. Mr. Ma, the Director General of the Olympic Committee of Vietnam, has invited me to be part of the SEA Games. So I like I said, I can't be more happy to be part of the SEA Games. There are 10,000 athletes and also officers that will be participating from May 12th to May 22nd in Hanoi. So, there are a lot of 11 sites. We're talking about, out of 10,000, I think close to about 3,500 to 4,000 are Muslim, from the bulk of Indonesia, Brunei, Malaysia, to a certain degree from Thailand and Singapore. So it is exciting. Yeah, I couldn't have come at a better time. I've moved to Hanoi, and these are some of the initiatives that we are doing, and gaining the traction. And also some of the provinces have invited Professor Min to come and speak about the Muslim-friendly hospitality. Go ahead, Doc.
Thank you, Brother Ramlan.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you short, but
Yep.
Our format is only 10 minutes.
Oh,
So,
more than 10 minutes? I'm so sorry, Doc. I was okay.
No problem. We would like to do is, after every speaker speaks, we will do a Q&A session.
Sure.
And you can add all those points you talked about.
Yes. Thank you, Doc. I apologize for exceeding the 10 minutes.
Yeah. No. Because everyone, if one speaker gets 20 minutes, then the other speaker should also get 20 minutes. So
and there's no halal anymore.
20 minutes. Now, Brother Lamlan should have. We can't be one person 10 minutes and another person. So we should be fair, ethical. Hukukul ibad. Take care of everyone.
Thank you.
So, Akram, can you introduce?
Thank you so much for bringing the industry part. And absolutely, this is what halal means, to give justice to everyone. Let me invite Brother Noor now to share or give your perspective on the subject.
You want Mr. Noor to share the presentation, or you will share it?
Wait, I will share myself.
Okay, that's great. And after this, all these speakers talk, we will do one thing is we will start, doing Q&A. That would be better. So where you can share, and even in Q&A, we can keep small answers, and you can share your, already the presentation, we share it with the attendees who are attending and also people who registered. So, they can contact you regarding this, inshallah. And I think we need to have more of this because, so much information comes out, like because Sister Jalil talked about so much of skill development, nobody's talking about it. Mr. Ramlan talking about how, Vietnam is catching on to it, so it's growing. And then Mr. Noor Amin is going to talk about halal science. It's very interesting. Like, today's thing is every panel is interesting. And today we have skill learning and science. So it's very exciting to be here.
Okay, shall I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everybody, and very good evening. Okay, as mentioned by moderator just now, my name is Noor Amin Mawad Noor. I'm a chairman of a Global Health Tech and as well as the director of Halal Laboratories. Okay, first of all, many thanks to Brother Akram, Dr. Malik, and Halal Angels for this invitation to talk in this weekend webinar series. As what was on the slide now. Okay, today my presentation we will touch
Can
on
you
the
do full screen?
Yeah.
Can you do the full screen of your presentation?
Yeah, I'm on full screen now. Can everybody see?
Yeah, that would be better.
Is it a full one?
No, not exactly.
I'm not sure why.
Okay, no problem. You can continue, brother.
Okay. Okay. I will touch on the halal science, something a topic that actually less talked by any authority or any in any event, either webinar or seminar before. So I hope later through Halal Angels, there's a lot more to expose on the halal science, because halal science actually is very important as a part of a halal certification process itself. Okay. So my presentation is more on the importance of halal science. Okay. To certify the product as a halal certified product, audit is done by the authority on the management, on the documentation, and the factory, as well as the environment, just to comply to halal. And we at Global Health Tech, because I'm a chairman of Global Health Tech, we are at Global Health Tech, and our lab, through our lab, Halal Laboratories, we will do the audit on the ingredient and finished product through halal testing or halal analysis, meaning that in terms of halal certification process, the audit to audit the document, the environment surrounding of the factory, audit the factory, audit the organization, where the capital came from. That was done by the auditor from the authority, like Jakim from Malaysia. In Vietnam, maybe we call Vietnam Halal Center, led by Brother Ramlan, and that is done by the authority. Our role actually is just to audit or to verify the ingredient and the finished product to ensure that it is free of pork and free of alcohol. Okay. So why we need to verify all those ingredients and finished product? Okay. Why? Because the value of halal logo, the halal logo supposed to got value. Because there's a big difference actually between the product with and without halal logo. Okay, so that's why we have to verify through some program or some system, and this is what we call halal science, the one that we propose to industry and to authority as well. Okay, the value of halal logo actually goes to manufacturer and consumer. Just only these two enjoy the value of halal logo, meaning that before got halal logo, maybe the revenue is a bit slower. That's why I said here, the value for manufacturer, higher demand and bigger revenue. Just imagine, before the product is certified as halal, the revenue may be $100,000 per month, for example. But after the product is certified as halal and the halal logo is printed on the packaging, the revenue is maybe double, maybe triple, meaning that it's totally different, because before halal certified, just only non-Muslim buy the product, purchase the product, because that's the only the client. But after the product is certified as halal, then the client is Muslim and non-Muslim, both of them. So that's the reason why the increase of the revenue and the potential market. Okay, and what happened to the consumer? So we need to ensure also the consumer also got value from the halal logo, halal certified product. Okay, so the value for consumer actually, product is proof not contain any haram sauce either by contamination or formulation, meaning that no any haram sauce like porcine or alcohol, especially these two, because these two is really need to concern by all of Muslim around the world. Okay. And this halal, this value of halal logo for consumer, it is measured through halal science. Okay, so why I say halal science? Okay, now we need to be very clear and to understand why halal science need to include as part of halal certification process. Okay, but bear in mind the halal analysis of halal science. Now talking about halal analysis, halal science, and narrow to the halal analysis or halal testing. Halal testing before this, maybe some.
Yeah, can you also move your slides, brother?
I just moved the slide. Is it moving?
No, it is not moving actually.
I'm not sure why. Wait, maybe I stop share first and I share again, because it sometimes happen like this before.
No, you have to move the slides. Slide number. Now we are seeing that. Yes.
Now can see it?
Make it a full screen. Click there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can see? Is it okay now?
Becoming full screen, but you can continue.
Okay, and now it's full screen now?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I'm not sure why.
Leave it. You can continue, but keep moving the slides.
I'm just touch on the button and on my laptop it's moving to the next slide, meaning that on the halal and ethic part. Is it that slide now?
No, sir. Continue. No issue.
Okay.
Mr. Noor, you continue with your presentation. Not an issue. Forget the screen sharing. You can talk what you can see.
Okay. Now talking about halal testing. Halal testing, before this, we just talked that tracing on the porcine and alcohol only, meaning that sample sent to the lab just to trace either contain DNA from porcine or contain the alcoholic beverages or not. But it is not actually. It is stated totally wrong actually. Halal testing comprises of 3 elements, which is halalan, thayyiban, and the ethic part. As mentioned by Brother Akram, we're talking about the halal and ethic, right? Okay, so in halal testing also, there's ethical part also supposed to be there. Okay, now halal testing comprises of halalan, thayyiban, and ethic part. I hope my slide is moved to the halal testing, halalan, thayyiban, and ethic part. Okay, what's halalan? Halalan is meaning that sent to the lab to trace either the ingredient or the finished product contain the source from haram source or not, like from porcine or from alcoholic beverages. These two, because this is clearly mentioned in Al-Quran, this is prohibited for Muslim to consume the alcoholic beverages or khamar and porcine. Okay, so this by qualitative, meaning that we send to the lab to trace if contain of or if detected pork DNA, then it is considered as haram for Muslim to consume the ingredient or the finished product. Okay, the second part is thayyiban. We are a bit familiar with halalan thayyiban, right? Thayyiban side called meaning that the safety side, meaning that we have to ensure that the product we consume, all the people, all the consumer buy the product is supposed to be safe to consume, meaning that after they eat, after they drink, or after they apply to their skin, there's no harm to their body. So that's why in this case, testing part supposed to be there, sent to the lab to ensure that the product is free of any sterile, any banned substance, or any hazardous compound in terms of qualitative measurement. And under quantitative, it's supposed to be trace the product or the ingredient, especially supposed to be not exceed the limit for heavy metal and not exceed the limit for microbial or not exceed the limit for ethanol, because all of this actually we cannot control. The heavy metal is naturally occurs in the soil, so we cannot control them. But we need to monitor as long as not more the limit that which is set up by the Ministry of Health. Then it is called okay for us to consume or to eat on that. Same goes to microbial. It is naturally growth. We cannot control them. As long they got light, they got feed, then the microbial will growth. But we need to monitor if the product or ingredient contain more the limit of the microbiome is more than the limit which was set up by the Ministry of Health and the Food Act, then we need to take out that cannot bring into the production line, so that the product served to consumer is safe to consume. Okay, and then the third part is we call is ethic or purity, meaning that the purity of the product. In this case, we need to ensure that for any product, if they claim to have something inside that product, we need to ensure that it is what was claimed, same as what was claimed. Meaning that, for example, if you claim the products contain American ginseng or Korean ginseng, for example, it's not just by claim only. It is supposed to be really supposed to be inside the product, so that the testing need to send to the lab, the sample need to send to the lab to test either it still contain whatever they claim or not. So that all these three elements, halal testing is supposed to be halalan, thayyiban, and ethic part, meaning that test on the porcine and alcoholic beverages, test on the safety, and test on the purity of the product. One or two of them is failed, then considered as failed. And once the halal testing is failed, don't give halal logo. Why? Because the value of halal logo is supposed to be first for Muslim, for example, me, you, and all of Muslim. Once we buy the product with halal logo, we supposed what come to our mind is confirm this product is free of pork and free of alcohol. Confirm I safe when I consume this product, and it is worth for me to purchase this product because it is confirmed or proved by scientific evidence, by lab testing, that they claim contain Korean ginseng, for example, and it is true. The Korean ginseng is inside there. So meaning that for Muslim, if they buy the product with halal logo, confirm no pork, no alcohol, safe to consume, and worth to purchase. For non-Muslim, if even though they are not concerned on the porcine and alcohol, still they need to concern on the safety and the purity. Meaning that for non-Muslim, they buy the product with halal logo. For them, they know or they confident that it is safe for them to consume and it is worth for them to buy. Because if the manufacturer put the price about $100 per bottle, then the value is $100 per bottle. That's how the halal testing is still always remain whatever they claim. It's supposed to be halal, safe, and worth to purchase. So that halal testing is for both Muslim and non-Muslim. That's why halal testing or halal analysis is supposed to be part of halal certification process. Not just audit on the document, not just audit on the factory, not just audit on the organization, but audit on the ingredient to ensure that it is free of pork and alcohol, safe to consume, and it is worth to purchase all those products. So that is the importance of halal logo, and that is the value. That's the importance of halal science. That is the value of halal logo, and that is the beauty of halal itself. Halal is brought by Muslim, but not just for Muslim. It is for both Muslim and non-Muslim. You can trust to anything. You can trust to anybody. You can trust to any authority, but still need to verify. How do we verify? It's halal science. So I think I end my presentation because it's more than 10 minutes already. Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Akram, now we do some question answer session, and then we open to panel if there's some people who want to ask question.
Right.
So
we request all our
sister Jalila, can you all our
participants, you have any question, you can ask in the chat box, or if you want to come in voice, we can also request you or give you a voice so that you can ask your question with voice. We have.
I want to ask a question to Sister, Jalil. Sister Jalil, I come from my mother's side comes from business, a very highly educated business people. But when I come from my father's side, we are all in academician. And skill development is very critical part, I believe, in terms of, you might have certification, there might be people who are aware, but the industry only comes up to it when there is people who are actually trained in that system. The step by step, like whether it's associate degree or certificate or a doctoral degree. No offenses to some people. There's one university, I don't want to take a name, one of the premium Islamic university, and the panelists were discussing about how to take zakat. I mean, they fail to understand the instrument of zakat is localization, not a central body to pick up. Because every financial instrument is different. Like Qarz-e-Hasna is different, zakat is different, fitra is different, endowment is different. But every time I end up into this, even the scholarly people, they only debate about zakat and fitra. That's where education comes very important, in this aspect. So can you throw some views on skill development and education? Like some people claim to be experts, but they're not.
Okay. I think if you're coming from below, from ground, certification would be one of the route. Not all people will go to universities, but we do recognize their talents because we have special people who would be more receptive to hands skills rather than education. So that's why the skill development program is there to support, even though the OKUs, those who are incapable of who are blind or but they have other senses that they can use. So it's open to all of those, and I think we have to recognize that halal is not only economic but also socio-economic. It creates income to people who needs it, and halal is one of the avenue. So skills development is important. The requirements to enter is so simple. It's so simple up to a point. At level 1, you just need to know, well, one thing in Malaysia, you need to study. Is mandatory for you to go to study until 15 years old, for example. So you just need that, because that is the rights of people, that they need to go to school, right? And
right.
After that, they can actually apply the certificates. They can go straight into the employment sector. Secondly, it's actually the universities. They are more the managerial type. They're more learned in terms of the way they look at things, very much into research. So they want to enter the halal industry, but they don't have enough skills. So we are now aligning both skills and education programs to be able for them to embrace the halal requirements and also practice it. When they enter, they almost enter at the same level, at level 4 for university, which is assistant manager type of role in halal, whether you are in operation or whether you are in management, depending whether you are the halal science ones or the halal management side of studies. But they can meet at that level, or even one level below is supervisory. Okay, because and there's also under both skill and learning. I'm currently on the technical committee for skills development in Malaysia. I approve not only halal standards but all other standards in Malaysia, and the halal studies framework for halal. I was part of the panel for that as well. Okay, so you've got people who are with experience, like yourself. You may not have gone through skill development, step by step, or even studying. You've got this, what we call experiential learning. So people can actually vouch you. You have all these halal professionals who can actually vouch, yes, you've got the right mindset, the right the capabilities that is required, the competency. You can speak about it. You are passionate about it, and they can give you the certificate. They will award you the certificate. You'll be recommended to the skill development department for you to be certified. Similarly, for education, it's called APEL. well, I can't, something experiential learning as well. Those who has been, in business for long, they don't have time to go to university, but they want to acquire some form of degree or even MBA or even PhD. They can actually, through their interviews, through their documented learnings and what they've done, they were able to actually acquire that level and get themselves an MBA or even a PhD kind of thing. So I think this is available
Mr.
already.
Amir raising a hand. I think Mr. Amir is raising a hand. What's his question? Amir, can you ask the question, please?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My name is Amir. I am based at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I hear Ms. Harti Jalil comment.
Yes, Amir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
yes, Amir. We can hear you.
And my question is with all panel members, and especially Dr. Tausif Malik. Like, mashallah, it's very good. Now, I'm a pharmacist. I'm working here. But this halal concept is not... Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
You can speak. We can hear you.
This halal concept is, like Ms. Dr. Jalila said, she's talking about the university level education, higher education level. For the general public, like Asians, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, the people are not aware of this, halal. Only they go, Ziba, they are doing Ziba, they are halal. But halal certification, all this, they are not aware of all this certification. So how we can make general awareness to bulk Muslims? What is haram, what is halal, how they are getting halal certification, what is the specification, what are the steps in very, layman, you can say, language. While they are going to purchase any product, they should know there is halal. Like here in Saudi Arabia, the mutton and all this coming from India, and suppliers are non-Muslims. The stamp is there halal. You got your
okay. I think we've got your question. I think Mr. Ramlan Usman, because he's been in this space, he's also done halal farms for HDC, so he's super expert in this. I think for all of us, he would better throw the light. Brother, Mr. Amir's question was that mass awareness program has to be taken. Supply chain issues, whether the product has come from a particular source, XYZ. So just a round up, and then we can take a view from Mr. Noor Amin, because he's also giving a certification of some kind from his technology, and sister, because she's also consultant. We can take 2-3 sentences, and then I will talk on this, something like that. Brother Ramlan.
Mr. Amir, good question. It's not only in Saudi that you are in. You are have not got the total concept of halal in Saudi, but in Vietnam, as I mentioned, it is very an infancy stage. A lot of Vietnamese, yes, they've heard of halal, but they're not sure what halal is. So there is a lot of engagement. I think part of the question is to ask, how do you get the grassroots levels to understand halal? I suppose maybe I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing. Maybe in Saudi it's taken for granted everything is halal.
Right.
I'm not sure whether that is part, but in Vietnam we need to do constant engagement with the stakeholders. That's my answer.
Sister, can you throw some 2-3 sentences on this based on your experiences? You need to unmute, sister.
Unmute.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, I think what Mr. Ramlan said is correct. He's done this many times. The level of awareness for halal with regards to halal and haram, I think that's something that everybody has read about and understood, whether you're coming from Saudi, whether you're coming from Vietnam, Malaysia, or any other parts of the world, India. But when it comes to applying halal, practicing halal on commercial level, I think this is the knowledge that we are talking about, skills that you need to acquire, and you need to be educated about it, because you are actually going into systems, production systems, management systems, the sciences of halal, in order to convince consumer that this is the right thing. As what Mr. Amin mentioned, it's not just testing for halal, for DNA pork and alcohol, but also the processes are actually clean, safe. And the fact that people who are actually using the products, when they said they are using the product, they are truly using it, so that the whole concept of halal is being respected, not just by Muslim, but non-Muslim. So this kind of awareness can only be done through agencies like Vietnam Halal Center. In Malaysia, we've got Halal Development Cooperation Center to actually convince or promote or even motivate the civil, the public, that this how halal is being commercialized, and you can actually trust the logo because of all these systems in place. So that's my final word for this.
Brother Noor, can you give some few points on this?
As was mentioned by Badr Ramlan also just now, actually halal is not halal certified is not because of the who prepare on that, where you prepare on that, or how good is the factory you prepare on that. It's still more on the ingredient. That's why testing is still needed. There's so many cases in Malaysia before. If everybody aware before, the Cadbury case, the Golden Churn case, it's halal certified product, but at last found positive the DNA because why? Because never monitor after they got the halal certified. That's why in Vietnam, for example, there's Muslims are population Muslims is very small, right? But sometimes the Muslims there still need something that called ingredient to make their food. But because of the population is very small, sometimes the manufacturer is not so interested to go for halal. So how do we know the product or the ingredient is still halal, which is no any contamination or formulation from porcine or alcohol? Testing is the answer. So that's why after you certify halal or before you certify halal, you still need to monitor. That's why I said just now, you can trust to anything, you can trust to anybody, you can trust to any authority, but still need to verify. How do we verify? Halal science. That's the importance of halal science or halal analysis.
I would like to put it in a different perspective. My grandfather was a very successful businessman, and he followed the hukuk al-ibad because his products was not consumed. There are two categories: consumption, whether it's pharmaceutical or anything you put in your stomach. So scientists like Noor Amin and brother like Usman, how he talks about, there's a partner, Mr. Suleiman Haroon from Singapore. They're putting a whole technology to map out farm to fork kind of technology. But all businesses, for example, consulting businesses, we don't consume, right? IT, I mean, for example, interest, anything with banking, you can put a thumb rule. Is it following interest or not interest? So food and interest is a separate category. You need halal certification. But companies like IT companies who are into construction business, companies for them, only thing is, are they doing hukuk al-ibad? Number one, are they paying taxes on time? Are they putting documentation on time? Everything documentation and being honest about it. Like I deal with a construction company, big one. They are offering, housing without banking. They will fund your financing in an Islamic way, and everything is documented out with them. So they don't need certification. They are following hukuk al-ibad. So concluding, anything which is consumed, yes, we need certification, whether it's contaminated or not contaminated. But mainstream business, are they related to interest? I'll conclude with one thing. Apple is the largest company on the planet, $3 trillion, right? The good thing about Apple is they put all the money in bank. They have not taken any loan from anyone. Okay. So when you look at stock market debt to equity ratio, Apple has zero debt. That's why the stock is very high. And they don't earn out of interest. They earn out of selling those products. So when you look at even mainstream, anybody following halal in that concept works. Any other question? Any attendees want to ask question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. I have a question again to the panelists. Like, personally, what are the challenges faced by, people who want to do halal business? Or even if they're doing honest business rather than ethical business, what you see in Malaysia, especially Malaysia, because you are from Malaysia, what are the challenges people face? We can start with anyone here.
I would say very simple. Yeah, a good question. Challenges in Vietnam. There are close to 100,000 SMEs in Vietnam. The main challenge is, yes, they want to do halal, but they think halal is just a rubber stamp. Does not go beyond that. So I keep on telling the halal is not about rubber stamp. Yeah. So the understanding, the culture, the immense understanding from the C-suite right into the production stuff is not available currently. People are just taking an easy way out. So, you know, I don't know what other parts of the world, but down here it is, yes, I want to do halal, but I want to do it just like instant noodles. It ain't going to happen that way.
My question again, I will rephrase my question for Sister Jalil and Mr. Noor. My question is, what are the challenges faced by entrepreneurs or business people, forget the halal part, in Malaysia?
Okay, let me just start. I suppose if you are already in business as an entrepreneur and you want to grow and embrace halal as one of your SKU or your products, they need to understand the shift, the mindset shift. If you're a Muslim, you already know what's halal or haram, but how do you apply it? How do you practice it? To what point, to what extent you need to practice it? And who's going to guide me there? They need the guidance. So I think there's a lot of, not just training is there's plentiful in Malaysia. You can see even skills development is there, you know, everything is there, but they need a coach who would like somehow check on them, you know, after a while before certification, everything is okay. And during certification, after certification, someone needs to really guide them for a while. It's like doing ISO. They give you that list of 20 things that you need to do, for example, and you work on it, and someone to really guide and coach you on how to do it. I think this is something that I observe from my observation in halal. Not that they do not want to do it. Apart from, yes, people have been complaining about speed and efficiency in terms of how certification are being awarded. I think everybody has that issue. But for a startup, I think coaching is very important these days for them.
Okay. Brother Noor, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, we can keep the halal part on the side. But as a starting business in Malaysia, whether it's a local or a foreigner, what are the challenges people might face, and what are the support? Because Magic recommended your name, which is a government agency of Malaysia for IT technology. So what are the challenges as a simple business person might face in Malaysia to start a business?
The challenges actually.
I thought 2-3 sentences. How you okay maybe.
Okay, actually like this. For me, I just always keep educate the people, the public. Keep the same, telling the same thing. Halal, don't see halal from the religious issue or from the religious angle. Halal is talking about standard, quality, and integrity. Standard prepared by the authority, so everybody has to follow on that to comply to halal. Quality, meaning that manufacturer has to provide the quality product based on the standard prepared by the authority, and it backs also to the integrity of the product, integrity of the manufacturer. That's why I say halal is halalan thayyiban and ethic part. When everybody see halal from the standard, quality, and integrity, manufacturer will always come out with the quality product and keep their integrity. And for us as a consumer, if we know halal is talking about quality and integrity, we will keep confident. And we will keep search for the halal certified product rather than we just still halal or non-halal, halal or non-halal, go for the lowest price. No, we always keep searching on the halal product because halal is talking about integrity and quality of the product. The challenges is awareness. For me, back to the awareness. Yeah.
Okay. Akram, you have any question for the panelist? My question, I think I misinformed you guys. I mean, it's my clarification, because Islam talks about tijara. It doesn't talk about halal first. And if you look at Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf, one of the Ashabis, he was guaranteed Jannah in his lifetime. So when he migrated to Medina, his Ansar brother offered him everything. But he said, show me kunya, show me the marketplace. And after years later, he made a lot of money, and his caravan was passing through Rasulullah's house, and Rasulullah heard some noise after Isha. He asked Hazrat Aisha Razina, can you check on that? What's happening? So she goes out and she looks at it, and she sees a caravan of Hazrat Abdullah bin Auf. In some citation, it says 720 camels. Some say 7,200. Somewhere it says 72,000. But we take the least one, 720. And it was laden with gold and silk for Syria. And she goes and informs Rasulullah, this is the caravan of Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf. And he smiled. She comes out and she smiles. And Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf said, Rasulullah Ta'ala says, did he smile? So she says, yes, he did smile. And he gives out the entire thing, not as a charity, but as a gift to everyone in Medina. Okay. So my thing as an entrepreneur, yes, we are focused onto the halal and ethical market, but tijarat, as we started Akram and we started startups creates innovation. Our thing is what's happening in Malaysia in that part was the question. And we can look at halal in a different space. Akram, are you there? Or you've gone for press?
Yeah, I'm here.
So yeah, you can ask question and then we can take concluding remarks from, or if anybody on the attendee has a question, then we can ask another question. Yes, there's a question I see from Mr. Niazi. What's happening with India? We are doing something called All India Muslim Business Startup Network. This network we run for like 5 years. We are trying to connect All India Muslim Business Startup Network with the Government of India schemes. We're trying to create an awareness. We do HNI networking events at 5-star hotels. But since COVID came, we have stopped that. Last event we did with Martrade in Pune before COVID. And we also work with minority schools. We do incubation acceleration center. We don't give them Qarza Hasna or Zakat. We invest money on those startups. Again, we work with the Islamic schools. Unfortunately, COVID now schools have been opened, so we'll start our work. So you can contact us. You can look at the website AIMBSN.com. And 3 years ago, I was in Indonesia, and our program became very popular. Nahadat al-Ulama, which is one of the largest organizations there, they signed up with us. And again, because of COVID, we had to keep it on the side. So you can contact us. Akram, can you ask questions or we can take concluding remarks?
Yeah, so I think we will take concluding remarks. It's been almost now 2 hours, 1.5 hours. So because there are a lot of questions, but
you can take one question and then we do concluding.
Yeah. My question with regards to this certification, just one question for your view, because we represent 2 important countries, also 2 important continents or regions of the world. South Asia is a booming region in the world, India being the leading economy. Malaysia is a very important economy in this Southeast Asian belt, including China. It is one of the largest, and then Japan is also nearby. These are the largest exporting nations of the world. Now, India is also becoming a very prominent nation. Now, what kind of collaboration can between India and Malaysia we can explore in this space of halal education, ethical startup education, and between the 2 regions, South Asia and Southeast Asia? What more can we explore? Because these 2 regions combined together creates huge amount of youth. I think the largest youth of the community and also in general. So what opportunities do you see that we can explore? So yeah, anyone can answer and start.
I think the HTC has been very aggressive in putting up their collaborations with country. I think recently it was Cambodia. I think Vietnam was earlier. And I think similarly, they are the lead agency that should be addressed to in terms of this question. And they would be happy to discuss it, either trade or even exchanges of consultancy, advisory, which would then group in people like Noramin, into the picture, depending on which part of the ecosystem that you want to establish. So I think they are the best entity to speak to. And so even for skills development and education, they have been priming this agenda for Malaysia and connecting the different ecosystems, halal ecosystem globally. Amin, you have anything to add?
Okay. For me, I'm more concerned on it is good if we can collaborate from India, because I think just correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's so many ingredients in produced in India. Maybe from pharmaceutical or food or cosmetic or something like that. And what concerned by Muslim now is we supposed to have the list of halal ingredient or halal ingredient database. I think this one maybe leads by HTC perhaps. The list of halal ingredient, which is if any manufacturer they're sure if they want to produce the halal product, they need to look for the halal ingredient rights. But sometimes it is hard to get the halal ingredients, so that sometimes they can replace the haram one to the halal one, so that it is stuck to certify the product as halal. The halal ingredients supposed to be in the list, so that easy for manufacturer to go for halal, and they know where to get the halal ingredient. And our part, me myself on our lab, we also can collaborate in terms of how to verify the ingredients halal or not, because sometimes we manipulate. They may be mixed with halal and non-halal. So our role is just to ensure that whatever they certify as halal, the ingredient or the finished product is still remain halal through scientific evidence. So we can collaborate in terms of that also in India.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Akram, may I take, you've
Please.
asked about collaboration between India and Malaysia. Let me speak. My knowledge about Vietnam is a little bit better. I understand the Vietnam ambassador to India is very active. I spoke to him during one of the webinar last year, and he is driving some of the business community in India to look at the industrial development in Vietnam. So the ambassador has played a fantastic role, and he knows what would be the cooperation point between the two countries. So I think from that point of view, Vietnam looks at India as a potential trading partner, which they can do better. I know the one pharmaceutical company is looking at to open up a factory in Ho Chi Minh. So that's a good sign. So hopefully that we can add in the halal ecosystem in it. That will be fantastic. That's from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
In fact, Akram works with the ambassador of Vietnam for a couple of years. They did a lot of events in India. Akram can be better person to inform.
Yep.
No, the ambassador has been, Famsam Chow has been really active in India. So we have been also very fortunate to assist him in organizing this. Another important question is, the best way to attract youth is no longer through degrees and certificates. It's more through internships. So can we build an ecosystem where we can engage? Because, just by a degree, we cannot attract and keep them, retain their attraction or attention towards it. So the best way is learning by doing. So can we create a regional or mega regional forum within us for the internship opportunities of our youth in the halal certification or halal space? Is it possible? We can collaborate and do it.
It is possible. Just to add to what you have said, I have been taking 2 interns from the University of Ho Chi Minh, non-Muslim, 1 boy and 1 girl, very active. Previously, before they met me, they don't even know what halal is. And a lot of work now in terms of to interpret from English to Vietnamese. I have used these two lads, and I'm very active. So I have done it. I am sure to continue from what you have said. It would not be a problem.
Excellent.
Yeah, just to add on to what Ramlan mentioned, for the universities, it is part of the program that they sign in for halal that they need to go for internship. And this internship from the university or even colleges, because there are university colleges as well, would bring them bring engagement from the industry to
Correct.
train or to give experience to these university people before they even enter employment. So, but what you're talking about is actually cross-region, and this is where the trade agreements will be important. In ASEAN, there's already some trade agreements. Halal is not part of it, unfortunately, but again, it's up to the Ministry of International Trade to actually look into this matter on how they want to boost the halal programs or even education or skilling programs into those trade agreements.
Thank you. Okay, I think with this we can take the closing comments in just 30 seconds to 1 minute from each of our speakers. Starting with Mohammed Noor. Brother Noor.
Me.
Closing remarks, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought start with depan hari ti. Okay. For us, it's very simple. Please, just expand the knowledge, not just beyond halal. This is halal food or halal finance or halal only. Halal science supposed to be there as well. So for us, halal science are supposed to be part of halal analysis, and we will need to keep educate the public and also even the authority to ensure that halal science is always complement to halal certification. Not to say halal analysis is trying to compete try to compete to halal certificate. And halal is not just brought by Muslim. Halal is just brought by Muslim. But it's not just for Muslim. It is for Muslim and non-Muslim, because halal is halalan, even an ethic part. So we will always keep educate and telling the same thing to the world, so that the people know and the existing of halal science itself. Okay, that's for me. Thank you
so much. Brother Osman.
Think halal, think Vietnam. Thank you.
The shortest speech. Closing remarks. Sister,
I think he read my message. We are going 10 minutes over.
That's it. Think halal, think Vietnam. That's it. That's my parting shot.
Sister Hariti. Yeah, please.
You need to unmute.
Sorry, the call for Azan outside. It's Asar. So finally, I think, yes, certification is not just about processes, SOPs, and also discipline, but but what's important now is to get yourself knowledgeable, skilled, and get yourself certified. Because as human, you without your heart, without your soul, without your passion, you will not be able to sustain integrity of halal throughout the supply chain. So I think the promotion for it needs to be there from our perspective as hamba Allah, the under God, and I think this is something that should be promoted on all platforms, not just through certain agencies. So that's my final words.
Thank you. Dr. Malik.
I would like to thank everyone for spending their weekend afternoon with us. Thank you for supporting our cause. It's a great thing because we're trying to do an awareness. A lot of questions raised up. We need to go all out. Everyone's doing their own thing. What Dinar Standard is doing, what SDC is doing, what Mr. Ramlan Usman, Vietnam Halal Center doing, what Nuramin is doing, what Sister Jali. Everyone's doing their own role. And when we do our own role at micro level, at macro level, we can see things change. And inshallah ta'ala, when the vaccine mandate gets over, we would like to do conferences, because our experience with the investor is they want to meet the real startups or any businesses for investment. And so inshallah ta'ala, we will do one in Japan, one we want to do in Malaysia. We are looking for a very strong partner in Malaysia. We interviewed a lot of people, but we're not convinced with them. So if you can recommend a very strong party who can work with us in Malaysia. I hope Mr. Ramlan would have been in Malaysia, but I think he's most of the time in Vietnam. Indonesia, Malaysia, Maldives, UK and USA, UAE and Jordan, we're going to do these 11 events. And it's going to be 2.5-day event One day we want to do is, get a red carpet dinner for all the invited investors. It's going to be only invite only. The next day we want to do, talk about what, for example, if you're doing, London or Manchester. So we showcase what Manchester is there to offer to all business people, the UK government officials, for example. And then we do startup showcase where startups showcase the business. And also we put an expo for startups where investors come and also consumers also test the product. The next day we want to do something called hackathon. People are given some ideas, whether it's, how can you put blockchain from farm to fork to check the halal and ethical, or it's organic or not organic. So we do something like that. We want to work with local universities, and then certain sections will be open to public, but majority all these investors would like to come and invest into the respective countries. So this is our agenda, and inshallah ta'ala, we need support from people. And jazakallah khair for everyone. And thank you, Aslam. You can do the final, closing remarks, and we can do vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Malik, and all our esteemed speakers for sharing your views. We will not go further. Enough has been spoken on this. Time for action. So let us see. All our words is not going to work unless we put them into actions and a proper agenda to achieve it. I hope from this we take some concrete lessons and we convert them into actions. Thank you. Keep watching.